Check the mic and make sure it sound right.
And I hope the mic does sound right. Hi, I'm DK Will. This is DK Will Talk About It. And I became aware of an article that is worth creating a video for because it addresses a lot of the things that I have been saying to my viewers. But before I can get into this, I am going to have to give out some props because I also subscribe to channels just as much as I try to be a provider in this channel. And so the way I came across this article was through the Working Money channel's video here. Ripple XRP Metaco says banks are stalling. The banks is the issue, but in that video he covered something by a Michael Branch, which many in the XR community are well familiar with, that addresses this article. And so my props goes out to them, and then the next topic I cover in regards to this, I want to give additional props, but props out to them for directing my attention to this article, because see, this article is in harmony with some of the videos that I have been creating in the past in an effort to help my viewers and myself as well to adjust and prepare for impending events that we really can't get around them. It's like if you know a strong wind is coming that will take you off your feet, the best thing you can do is hide around the corner of a large building or structure that the wind may not be powerful enough to blow. And so as you duck to the corner, you know, not running straight but sideways to get, like a train coming, to get out of the path of the wind. I can't say water because water won't care if you hide around the corner. And you watch the wind blow everything by you, but you're okay because you're hiding behind a bit of a stalwart, a bit of a strong wall. And so that's what we try to do here on this channel. And in reading this article, I see that it also touches on me personally because it addresses my bank. And so I'm going to cover this article and remind my viewers of some of the videos I've done in that regard because, folks, please, I'm a little guy. But I guarantee you, go look at those videos and you will see again just how timely they are. And if you didn't watch them then, and didn't listen then, and didn't adjust your paradigm then, maybe it's time to do so. So let's get going here. Okay, shameless plug number one. This video that I did back in September of last year of 2022. Take that to the bank. Don't bank on it. Here's a good reason that you may not want to fully bank on it. Let's get back to that article. The article, U.S. banks are abruptly freezing accounts, halting withdrawals without warning or explanation, on the Daily Hodl, July 22nd of this year, 2023. It says that U.S. banks are increasingly closing customers' accounts and freezing withdrawals without warning, according to a new report. A growing number of people say they're abruptly losing access to both their checking and savings accounts, reports CBS Los Angeles. The report cites the sudden account closure of Elad Nahorai, who received an ominous alert while logging into his Bank of America account. Please stick with me. The outcome's going to be nuts. He then drove to a branch in West LA where he was told his account had been shut down and access to his life savings was denied. Bank of America told me it was shut down. They refused to give me an explanation. They told me I would get my money after it was resolved. Wow. All of a sudden, I found out I'm broke. I can't feed my family and I can't pay any expenses. Put yourself in that position. And yeah, folks, I do bank with the same bank that he mentioned, Bank of America. Now, I'm not hating on Bank of America, but that's just a fact. That's not a small bank. But according to it says banks typically shut down accounts over concerns of suspicious behavior. But according to the Banking Policy Institute, only 4% of suspicious activity reports submitted by banks to law enforcement result in a follow-up, and a small fraction of the follow-ups result in arrests and convictions. You know I have a history of managing a bank, and yes, I'm familiar with suspicious activity reports. And bank personnel should be very discriminate and discriminating on if they're going to submit them, especially if we're going to be doing this to our fellow citizens. But stick with me, because we still haven't seen where this originated. Back in 2014, the number of SARS, we'll just call them SARS, submitted by banks stood at about 830,000. That number significantly increased in recent years, with about 1.4 million reported in 2021. Nahorai, the victim, says Bank of America, which has 1.4 trillion in assets under management, said it would take up to 20 days to review his account. Folks, what would you do without access to your funds for 20 days? Not through your card, not through the bank teller window, not through any means. Both checking and savings, and you just believe in the banks, and that's where all your money is. It's another one of those situations where how do you deal with this massive bank, this massive power that you have no control over? I was shocked to find out that this is actually relatively common. However, take note, when a CBS television crew showed up at the bank to film a report, Nahorai says that the situation rapidly changed. Although his account remained closed, he was granted permission to transfer his money out and send it somewhere else. Why should we have to rely on the media for this? Here's the kicker, folks, of how this man found himself in this position. Bank of America told the news outlet that an FBI report triggered the shutdown of Nahorai's account. Nahorai says he is the person who submitted that report to the FBI to tell the agency that a scammer had impersonated him via email asking for money from one of his clients. Amazing, is it not? Shameless plug number 2. A video I did just last month, June 2023. And it's entitled, Which Way Do We Go? And it gives some options on other facilities that can be used for your monies that are not the banks. Maybe traditional, but not the banks alone. And so I encourage you to take a look at that video and read it, because it gives some insightful and also informational and educational material on how us common folk can deal with situations like this, where we want to try to be less and less reliant on just a single entity or a single investment or a single holding company for our assets. It's pretty much a diversity of possessions as much as it is diversity of investments. Okay, I also mentioned that I'll have to give some other props, and anybody remotely attached to the XRP Army knows who the digital asset investor is. I kind of view him as the president and head FBI agent of the entire ordeal, over and above everybody, amongst the many others who are involved, because this man's been digging and turning up the moldiest leaf you can find, but finding everything that's there to find. But in one of his videos, the most recent one he did, Ripple One, Bad Guys Scramble. Yes, they are scrambling. He drew attention to rayfuentes. Anyone in the XRP community knows who I'm talking about. But for those who don't, those who are just relying on banks, it's really time to change your paradigm and take advantage of this information. So what I'd like to do is show another option besides the ones in my video, but this is also alluded to in my videos, and I do not earn any money from any of these references to this company, but I am going to listen in on rayfuentes' thing here on Twitter to show another option for those who are just still relying on the banks. Let's listen.
Check this out, family and friends. I received my GLINT MasterCard debit card in the mail this week. Now I can buy, save, and spend gold digitally anywhere MasterCard is accepted. Welcome to GLINT. GLINT is a movement for gold as everyday money, designed to provide reliable form of currency, protected from the inflationary practices of governments. I activated my debit card at the beach and used gold to buy a cup of coffee. With GLINT, gold ownership is digitized, democratized, enabling anyone to transact transact gold in real time. The gold I own with GLINT is securely stored in a Swiss vault and insured with Lloyd's of London. When I make my purchases with my GLINT MasterCard, my gold is sold and the transaction is completed with my local currency. GLINT is key and gold is security. Check out GLINT today.
Shameless plug number 3. This thumbnail for this video. Banks not doing Wells, not far to go. A play on Wells Fargo. And the banks are not doing as well as many think. And unless they make that transition to the new monetary system that they've been fighting against through Gary Gensler, they're going to falter, Bank of America included. And so this video covers that topic because, as you can see, maybe we don't want to just bank on it. I'm not trying to take people out of the banks, but I am trying to encourage a paradigm shift where people look at other options, because as we head more and more to a democratic, we'll call it, monetary system, that means you're going to be making more arbitrary and democratic decisions of your own on how to handle your funds and not be relying as much on others. Of course, unless you rely on those who are a topic of the prior video that I plugged for you. However, if you've been watching my channel, you know that many moons ago, I have been plugging gold as an option. And when GLINT came along, I was glad to offer an aside, I'll call it, that I created for those to draw their attention to GLINT as another place to put your money in case banks do fail. You're not totally handicapped. And so I'm going to plug that in right here too. And just a quick aside, here's where I think is safe. The central banks have been upping their gold holdings significantly now for several years. Follow the money means follow the banks, right? Now, keep in mind, I didn't say follow the money means use the banks. Follow the money means follow the banks. I can tell you that I've already begun. Before it was physical gold and silver, but now I think this is so much more convenient because it's spendable with that there debit card that you have there, that MasterCard debit card. But when it comes time to convert your crypto profits into something else, this is where I'm going, folks. I am not sponsored by them. I do not make a dime if you do it. Wish I did, but I don't. But I am telling you this because I believe it to be the right thing to do to protect your funds when you turn them into cash. Get out of cash, the dollar's a trap, and get into gold because it's a gold-backed monetary system. And my final shameless plug is from a video I did back in May of 2022, and it posed the question, consumer or high net worth individual? There is a distinction, and people are treated differently if you are a retail investor compared to an accredited investor, compared to a hedge fund, compared to an institutionalized investor, compared to a bank. There are differences, folks. And so the videos that I've highlighted help to adjust our paradigm, so adjust for that, because see, if you don't, you're going to be a victim. If you don't, that high gust of wind, that storm that's coming through is going to take you off of your feet and it's going to blow you away. I've lived in Tornado Alley. I've even suffered a tornado when I lived in the Appalachians. And they found people's clothing miles away, tens of miles away from a tornado. And that's how far you're going to be away from your value and your worth if paradigm shifts don't occur, because we are going through a monetary system change, and with any type of change there's upheavals, and so when there's upheavals we have to protect ourselves. A bank as strong as Bank of America, who is also in cohorts with Ripple, did something like that by just following procedure, and unfortunately it wasn't even external, it was internal. The gentleman sent the report in himself because of his concern, and it resulted in his money getting locked up. I assure you, there's a potential for our monies getting locked up, and we won't even know why or how until we seek out some answers. But why do we want to subject ourselves to just that one source? And so the purpose of sharing this video, and I thank those who I gave props on it, you guys brought my attention to it. But like I said many times, I'm not an echo chamber. The information, I'm giving you DK Will's perspective on it. And DK Will's perspective on it is consistent with the videos that I've already highlighted to you. So I encourage you to go look at them. I encourage you to take it in. I encourage you to like and subscribe. Okay? And I encourage you to share my videos. Because folks, the proverbial beep is hitting the fan. I'm DK Will. And this is DK Will Talk About It. I've talked about it. Have a wonderful day.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right.